Hello, welcome to a new G-Star Vaults, guys. A couple of changes and a few new things. Changing it up a little bit, coming from a different angle, sitting here chilling in my chair, so I hope you're getting comfortable and relaxing as well. And a couple of other new things. First of all, new logo, and who knows, maybe some merch will be coming soon. As always, don't forget to please like this video, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Ding ding. And your comments on this channel are super important, and to G-Star Vault, need you to comment Vault if you think that the discussion or what we're featuring is genuine, worthwhile, worth more investigation. Please put Vault. If you think it's a load of rubbish and not so genuine, or yeah, just say Oblivion, and we'll throw it out into the ether and forget about it, and it'll be gone into oblivion. So please get commenting away and share all your other thoughts as well. Really important, joining the community. Thank you guys. So usually on G-Star's Vault, what I'm usually doing is bringing you content, video, images, stories from other users that have uploaded to the World Wide Web, and you know, I give you my thoughts and opinions, and you guys can comment and give your thoughts and opinions. However, this episode's a little bit different. I'm bringing you my own content, and to explain that, what I mean is, in past episodes of the Monty Zone, which is our live streaming show every Friday on a fortnight, and also G-Star Vault, we've discussed in the past the Mars rover missions and the images that the rovers have been sending back, as well as the Mars orbiter satellites. And in the past, I've said to you guys, you know, go and check out mars.nasa.gov, where you can check out these images yourself, and you can do things like zoom in and just probe them. And so I thought I would do some probing of my own, and I spent quite a few hours the other evening using a website called Gigapan, which isn't exclusive to Mars. It's a website that shares high definition 360 photos, but a lot of users on there are uploading stuff directly from the NASA website, and that's where I was going through one particular image. So when it comes to these images and objects that have been snapped by the Mars rover and the orbiter satellites, you know, there's a lot of different, you know, school of thoughts. There's the group that think, well, this then is an indication of a previous civilization on Mars. There's a group of people that think that, you know, intelligent life is on Mars at the moment, whether that be in a different sort of form like microbial. But then you've got your hardened skeptics who just think that it means nothing, that it's all just images where lighting and exposure has some sort of impact and effect, and it's pareidolia and our minds are seeing something that's not there. Now, regardless of which category you sit in, you have to acknowledge that the sheer volume of evidence and images that have been snapped that are curious and are kind of unexplained, you know, they're stacking up. I'm sharing a few with you now, and these are just a handful, and as time goes on and we get more and more images, you know, you have to start questioning, is there something to this? And that's why I wanted to, you know, probe a little bit more and have my own experience of looking at some of these images in detail and seeing if I could see some of what other people that have seen. And the reality is that, you know, I did. I mean, a really good example, so just rewinding a little bit and going back to the Mars orbiter satellites. You know, this is again, the website that I was using was called Gigapan. This is just one example of one image that's been shared on there from one of the Mars orbiters, and you know, it's quite a quick one, but you can see where it zooms in. You know, there's some clear right angles that give an indication that it's signs of a previous structure. You know, from a geological point of view, natural erosion, etc., it's quite difficult to make that leap that, you know, the natural order of things have made these right angles. That's the way I think anyway, but that's just an example of some of the stuff from Mars Orbiter. So the image that I was specifically looking at was, again, I don't know if you guys have with your cameras taken 360 images before, but the image that I was looking at had two 360 images, obviously high definition, on one picture, and I was primarily focusing in on the top one, and in fact spent about 3 hours combing that image, because you can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and you know, probably scan a 20-meter radius every sort of like 5 minutes, and it's kind of slow going if you're trying to pick up the detail, but it is really amazing. But you kind of you do lose some clarity as you zoom in. So what I'm planning to do is put together these images, maybe add some music to it, add some text so that I can talk you through as the images come up what it was that I was seeing. But we'll come back afterwards, and I'll talk about some of the more curious ones in a little bit more detail. So for now, go and grab yourself a drink, let's chill out and watch these images, and we'll come back and we'll discuss them a little bit more. Instead of text, I decided to do some commentary for you. So as I was saying earlier, this is how I kind of started this journey off. I zoomed in on the top image and scoured the landscape in that particular image. And much of what you see is kind of like what you've seen in this image, lots and lots of rocks. And I think I mentioned earlier that there were some that were had curious discoloration or what looked like patterns on them. This is a really good example. But again, I'm not a geologist. This could be the type of rock that it is, and then Mars dust sitting on particular areas of the rock. Who knows? But it just was quite fascinating. And as I was scouring the landscape, I happened to glance this puppy, and the reason why this stood out to me is because throughout the whole landscape in that picture that you saw earlier, there were no rocks like this one. For sure, some of the quality has been lost as I've transferred this to the video, but please take it from me that this rock, the surface that you're seeing, was very, very flat. And as I mentioned, there was nothing that was this colour that was in the rest of the picture. It also looks like it has depth to it. You can see that shadow, so it seems that it's quite thick. As I'm trying to zoom in and out to get a better look at this rock, my eye then went to this black thing that's floating in the air, and so, you know, I then started honing in on this and trying to get a better view of it. It's a bit of a strange one, but it made me start to look at everything a little bit different. It's worthwhile reminding you at this point that this is Sol 4, so this is before any helicopter was launched from Perseverance that would have taken aerial shots of the landscape from the surface. So I guess my second question is, you know, what is this thing? It can't be dust on the camera, because else it would be so much more bigger in the shot. If you zoom out to sort of a middle zoom, then you really can't see it very well. I've got a good example of that later on with another area of the picture. But what I decided to do was start looking along the rest of the sort of skyline to see if I could see more of these. And lo and behold, that's exactly what I found. This was the next one that came up that was around about the middle part of the image when I zoomed right in. Here's a really good example of that same image in a sort of middle zoom area that I was talking about earlier. On this image, right now I'm pointing out what stood out to me was this really sharp pointed piece of rock, which again, I couldn't find any other rock in the picture that looked like this. And at the same time, look what's in the background again. Two more this time in this one. But I still remain really intrigued about how pointed and sharp this rock is. So I guess a few things to point out about all these images that I've picked up of what appears to be something flying or floating in the air. I guess you'd have to go and view the picture yourself really to appreciate that what I'm about to tell you, you can only really get from actually browsing and going through the picture yourself. But getting a sense of the distance in this picture, I would estimate that these things are about the size of a bird or slightly larger. They're definitely not something that's further in the background actually on land, because where there's images where there is further mountains in the background, you can see that you know, like in this picture, you can see it in the distance, and it just doesn't match with the landscape. Last but not least, I also found this very curious object in this same picture in another area towards the latter end of it. And here it is. This was, as I said, towards the end of the photograph. I zoomed right in. You might look at this and think it looks like a statue. The head looks a little bit like a lion. You can see what looks like an eye indent, but actually the fact that it looks like a statue is not what I want to bring to your attention. It's the bit that's sticking down that I find very curious. I'm not a geologist, but rock doesn't naturally form going downwards. Hope you enjoyed looking at these pictures, guys, and thanks for watching. But let's do the wrap up now. And let me know whether you think this should go into the vault or whether it should go into Oblivion. And I'm just, you know, in your opinion, I could be seeing things that just are not there or not as mysterious as I'm thinking. But for me, it was nice to kind of see all these different strange things, and then some very curious stuff come up. So go and have a look yourself, have a bit of fun looking through some of these images, and don't forget to comment and let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time on G Stars Vault. See you later, guys. Bye.